Kahala Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rekahak Radash. Double honors to the elder apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well for teaching this word in truth and sincerity. Salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. To you I say Shalom. Our people, meaning the 12 tribes of Israel, here in Babylon, that was scattered for our disobedience by the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, refused to let go iniquity. They refuse to let go of their sins. They wallow in them. And they tend to reminisce about their past sins. And it's not in repentance. It's not in being grievous of those sins. It's almost like a badge of honor. And our people are foolish. Sardis children. That's Jeremiah 4:22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are Sardis children, meaning foolish, stupid. And they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. That goes right into what I was saying. Our people have a tendency to like replay past iniquities as if it was a badge of honor. I ran across a guy in my travels, and the whole time we spoke, or the whole time he was speaking, because I pretty much just listened, and his whole conversation was based on the different times he was in prison through the various counties. I went through about 4 cities in one state. Went through about 4 cities. And the whole time we were riding, we was on the bus, we went through various counties. And each time we went through a new county, this Jake kept saying how many, like, where the penitentiary was, where the prison was, what he did, and how long he was there, and in the various jobs he had while he was in prison. And it wasn't like he was repentant of it, or uptight or sad about it. He used it as a badge of honor. It was like it's like that thing that young Jakes have, like they want to go to prison to become a man and things of that nature. That, to me, that shit is silly. We all go through certain trials and tribulations being here in Babylon, because the focus is on our back, like we have a bullseye on our back. But a lot of it is catered to our own ignorance and our own lust and desires. This is 2 Timothy 3:2. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Verse 6. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lay captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts. That's pretty much like how that's pretty much the maturation of a Jake male here in Babylon. Mainly, that shit. It's all the tribes, tell you the truth. If you here in Babylon, but that's the curse that was put on us. So we pretty much we boast and we're proud of the nonsense we go through. We use it as a badge of honor, like a maturation, where that's your coming of age. In the land of Ham, they would use a maturation of a young male becoming a man, by hunting down a lion. Esau's maturation is a young man going into the army or graduating high school or something like that. Or if they're a man of the wilderness, their first hunt, learn how to use a weapon. That's a maturation of a male in other places. In other what you would quote or what you would say ethnic backgrounds. But the Jake male takes pride in wickedness. They take pride in street culture. They take pride in being chased and hunted down by police, put into their prison system, and going through the monotony of in and out of prison, laying with lustful women, catered to their own lusts. And this is the dire straits our people are in. They don't listen to their parents. They, one of the things that this Jake told me is that the young kid, the young kids they tend to do it on their own. They don't, what I'm saying, like they don't listen to us. I have, he has false wisdom. I could tell him exactly what not to do, and but it's the same cycle. Because I'm pretty sure your parents told you to be a good human, what I'm saying, be a stand-up person, take your ass to school and do what you need to do and get it and be productive, quote unquote, in here in Babylon. But we all want to go our own ways, and you figure it out the hard way by going through these silly trials of Esau hunting you down. You play in the street, talking about you want to be a hustler, you want to make your own money and all this other nonsense. But it's all going against the Most High. It's all going against Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And this is exactly what he said he was going to do to us. He was going to scatter us, and we was going to get devoured by our enemies. This is 2 Peter 3:9. But they shall proceed no further. Let me go back. I'm going to start with 2 Timothy 2:6 again. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Verse 6. For this sort are they which creep into houses and lay captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts. Verse 9. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was. Verse 10. But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long-suffering, charity, patience. Verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. And that's exactly what that conversation was like. He pretty much went through a whole rendition of all the different trials and tribulations he had coming up, and it was based off all his disobedience and his folly, not knowing the truth. But coming up in these churches, being around these people who claim to be preachers, and if you're dealing with that church, that Christian church, you're not gonna get the truth. You're just gonna get a bunch of weak stories, feelings, how they feel about things, about the scriptures. You know, they don't know the truth. So you get this false doctrine, and not knowing the truth, not knowing the name of the Most High Yahweh and His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai, you don't go through, you don't know the doctrine, so you don't go through the things that's fruitful. When it talks about long suffering, it ain't talking about being in prison or jailed because of some bullshit that you was doing, either trying to get a pair of sneakers or something, you know, trying to hustle in this world according to these weak drug dealers and gangsters that you see out here that's you know what I'm saying, that's publicized, that's worshipped, you know what I'm saying. These are idols, man. These people are full of shit, and that's what's glamorized here in Babylon. So coming up, these are the things that you look up to as being okay. Trying to find the right word for it, but you look up to these things as being righteous almost. These are things that you look forward to being, you know what I'm saying, look forward to doing, and it does nothing for you. The only thing it does is condemn you in the eyes of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Shai. And because you are seduced and a seducer of these wicked ways, you wax worse and worse. You fall deeper into that rabbit hole of being a deceiver and being deceived. So you a deceiver because you haven't really practiced what you preaching. So you want to tell a young person not to go that route, but yet you still talk about the nonsense that you did. It wasn't like you're sorry for it. It's like a pat on the back to yourself. So basically you're deceiving a youngster. If you actually come across one that's looking for some type of guidance, you're going to deceive him because he's going to get the wrong impression. This is 2 Timothy 3:15. I'll go back to 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Verse 15. And that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith, which is in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. So from a kid, you're not taught the right way. So how could you worship the Most High in His in truth and sincerity? You have to let go of all that nonsense. Seek out the truth of the Holy Scriptures. Then you can make wise unto salvation. Then you know how to prepare yourself for the evils that's going to come. The only way to do that is to seek out Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And then to do that, you have to listen to the men that's teaching it out there on the highways and byways, and or getting it through the men that's out on the highways and byways, or the highways and hedges, through this unicorn, which is the internet. But a lot of people scoff and scorn and try to debunk it and buck up against the truth because of the lies that you were taught as a kid. But this is the spirit that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai put on this place and put on us. 2/3 of our people are slated for destruction here in Babylon. This is Jeremiah 15:3. And I will appoint over thee 4 kinds, saith Yahweh. The sword to slay, and the dog to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth, to devour and destroy. And this is how our people go out here, man. Because of our disobedience, scoffing and scorning, murmuring, complaining. These are all the things that our people did coming out of Egypt. When the Lord he set a path for you, he prepared a way for you. He gave you food from heaven. He gave you manna from heaven. He gave you water. All the times when you was out there talking shit. And those same spirits are back today doing the same thing. So you're going to be devoured by the sword. And the dogs and the fowls of the air and the beasts of the earth are going to tear at your rotten flesh as you lay up on the highway like roadkill. This is Baruch 3:8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subjected to payments according to all the iniquity of our fathers, which departed from the Lord, or departed from Yahweh, our power. And that's what we go through here in Babylon. We're set up as a reproach. We are cursed here in Babylon. We've been scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth, and a lot of our people are right here in Babylon, being subjected to all sorts of payments, whether it's cash payments or payment of debt that you've created out here, whether it's in the streets or through some form of business transaction. We are subject to payment here, whether it's with your cash in your pocket or with the air that you breathe, which means your life be taken from you. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai set us up to be like that because of our disobedience, because our refusal to bow to the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So we're going to be like this, or our people are going to be like this, 2/3 of our people are going to be like this until his return. And then he's going to take them out. They're going to be reborn again in the kingdom. You know, it's funny, a lot of our people they buck up against that. Because it's almost like they can't fathom that, you know, the point of reincarnation. They can't fathom that the part that what they were taught is wrong. That Yahweh, our power, loves everything and everybody, when it clearly states, it clearly shows you that there's things he hates. So our people are misled, misguided, and refuse to study, refuse to do the things necessary for salvation, refuse to do the things necessary to get closer to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and understand his doctrine. But this is Matthew 7:6. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast your pearls before swine, Least they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. So you could tell the 2/3. You could tell the 2/3 as much as you want, but he clearly states that, man, that's like giving the word to a dog or giving the word to a pig. They not gonna get it, and it's clear as day that 2/3 of our people just won't get it. And the funny thing is, they'll quote or refer to Yahweh as God. They'll say God. My man he said God and pointed at the sky like a few times while we were talking. But he just kept going. He kept resorting back to talking about the bullshit, talking about folly. And the funny thing is, I wanted to mention, like, I wanted to go into it, but then Matthew 7:6 popped up in my head, because it's like, dude, you not even repentive for the things you've done. He is like, it's a badge of honor for him. So it's like, you want to go into it, like break it down to him real quick to see if, if he liked the food. But it was like I said, Matthew 7:6 popped in my head. Why give something holy to the dogs? This is Proverbs 30:12. There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. So that means, man, you're unclean in faith, you're unclean in spirit, you're unclean in the truth. And tell you the truth, man, even if I'd have broke it down to him, he wouldn't have got it. This is Sirach 25 and 28. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry: a man of war that suffereth poverty, and a man of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepareth such as one for the sword. So the first thing that this also popped in my head, not really the verse itself, but the actions of him. It was like, well, if you hit this man with the truth right now, what he gonna do with it? Because he's a man of war that suffereth poverty. My man was about, what did he say, was about 66 years old, but still talking crazy, like, you still want to be in the world. You still want that. You still want, like, you want to regain that youthfulness to continue to do what you do, which is wickedness unto the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. So if I'd have gave that to him, what he would have did was solidify his 2/3. He would have just solidified himself as 2/3. But then why give something holy unto the dogs? So I was I wouldn't say conflicted about it, but I thought about it, that little, on the ride that we, the bus ride that we had while we was talking, or while he was talking. So if I'd have broke it down to him real quick, and if he would have understood, he'd have went back, and he would have went right back into the world. He would have went right back into his sins. Even though it pretty much would have cleared my hands, but it's like he wasn't even that, like his mind wasn't even that in that position to receive that. So our people are lost. Our people are lost because we all go through things. You know what I mean? When I was young, I went through a lot of this. I wouldn't say the same things, but pretty much on that same path. But that spirit wasn't on me to be sitting there talking about and bigging up the bullshit that I did. You know, when I would I worked in social services, so when I would talk to a young person, it wasn't about all the things that I did. That shit is irrelevant. It's about what you doing and what you need to do to get on point and get on path. So being in the truth, it just makes everything that much more clearer. I hope this was edifying. Call Allah Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakahak Radash. A Bible ball.